Welcome to WKIM. We keep it moving. And I'm your host, Marcia Juice, and we are here with Dr. Vonnya Pettigrew. And we are so excited to have her here. She has been doing all these incredible things and all that she has done. It is amazing. And I'm telling you, we just don't even realize the breadth and depth of all this woman has done. That she has just created so many incredible items. Let us go ahead and start. I'm a little bit behind, so we do want to get us going so we're not wasting her time. Please join us, and I'm trying to tell you that this is huge, y'all. It's just absolutely huge. So let's go ahead with Dr. Pettigrew, and you tell us while I get myself together. I didn't want to waste any more of your time back in the background, so I thought we would just go ahead and get set, and I know you know how to pivot. So thank you very, very much. I already know that. I know that you pivot, and everybody around you talks about all of the wonderful things that you have done. And one of the most powerful things for me is as I drive down Boston Street, I see where everybody's talking about how you bought the block. Let's talk about buying the block and how the block got even on your.
So you went out
Hello?
for a little bit. I'm here. You went out for a little bit. I heard you ask me how to buy the block and then how to block, and I couldn't hear the rest.
Yes. And that's what I really want to talk about. For whatever reason, this doggone thing is doing its own thing. But what I've just been interested in, and please just bear with me because I'm just a little country girl from Indiana. I don't know nothing. But what I do know about you,
thank you, Marcia.
I'm going to share this. So Vonnya Pettigrew, who's the founder and CEO of Root Branch Media Group, making media that makes a difference.
Yes.
Media mogul Dr. Vonnya Pettigrew, HD HonD, is the CEO, founder and visionary of the Root Branch empire, consisting of the RBMG Building, Root Branch Office Solutions, Root Branch Press, Coffee and Company. She has a 501c3, Root Branch Arts and Outreach Institute, Inc., and Root Branch Media Group, an award-winning media production firm headquartered, along Baltimore's beautiful waterfront in Canton Harbor. Dr. Pettigrew has 27 years of professional media experience as a filmmaker, writer, TV producer, director, instructor, and casting agent. She's produced content for government agencies, corporations, universities, and broadcast networks such as Discovery, TV One, and Baltimore's Charm TV. Dr. Pettigrew is a Philadelphia native. She earned her bachelor's degree in communications from the University of Maryland, in College Park. She is currently an alum of the 2023 Baltimore Leadership Class and an alumni of the Goldman Sachs 10KSB program. Okay, girlfriend, because now we know you in the leadership. Okay, I'm in 90 something.
Oh,
Dr.
yes.
Pettigrew is a what I miss?
I said, oh yes, leadership. I didn't know you were leadership too.
Yes, ma'am. So we'll talk about that after the show.
Yes.
But we're really, because this is huge for us.
Yes.
Yes, it is, girl. Yes. So, see, I get so excited. She is a Philadelphia native. She earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in Communications from University of Maryland, College Park. She's an alum of the Goldman Sachs 10K SB program here in Baltimore. Let me bring this down a little bit further. And she is a member of the CEO Club, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, BABJ, Baltimore Association of Black Journalists, the Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce, NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners, DC, Distinguished Toastmaster and former White House intern under President Clinton. 2024, Dr. Pettigrew made history. Kicking off Black History Month, she was recognized by elected officials in the city of Baltimore and state of Maryland as the first African-American woman of Maryland to buy a block along Baltimore's waterfront. I know, girl, I love that. She buying the block. In 2023, she received an honorary doctorate degree in business philosophy from Trinity International University of Ambassadors, TIUA. Also, the 2023 was named top 100 women in Maryland by the Daily Record and received the Women of Vision Award by the Women in Film and Video, WIFV, in Washington, D.C. Excuse me. Other recipients of this distinguished award include Cecily Tyson, Ruby Dee, Gwen Eiffel, Penny Marshall, and Tipper Gore. She's been written about in publications including the Bloomberg Quarterly Report, the Baltimore Business Journal, the Daily Record, Baltimore Times, Baltimore Magazine, Voyage Baltimore, the Afro Paper, and has been featured nationally and globally by Voice of America across all media platforms. Dr. Pettigrew has recently been appointed to the board of directors for the Red Cross of Central Maryland. She's been mayoral appointed to the City of Baltimore Workforce Development Board. She also currently sits on the Excellence in Entrepreneurial Learning Advisory Board, a collaborative initiative of the Annie Casey Foundation and Coppin State University, and the Advisory Council for Frostburg State University Department of Communications. I'm telling you, I am so proud of you and all the work that you are doing. This is huge. This is huge. Can you just back up a little bit and talk to... I'm sorry, what? What'd you say?
No, I said thank you.
I couldn't hear you.
Yes, thank you. I say thank you.
We went out a little bit.
Oh, I was
it's
huge.
You. This is huge. And this is not something that we have to just think lightly. And I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for all of the hard work that you've to bring it to you to affect people who work with you. Doing so many different things, we don't always develop those relationships that we should. Understand you have just been available to your employees and the things that you have done. Let's talk about what made you make a decision in your life and the impact that you're having clearly on a lot of people in this town and everywhere else.
Can
you hear?
We yes, you and I applauded the idea of leadership, right? And growing up in church and as a woman of faith, leaders serve. So to really be a leader, you also need to be a servant, and living my life that aligns with being a servant leader is so important to me that I not only lead from the front, but I also lead from the back. I'll share this one small tidbit about, like I said, my cultural, religious, upbringings as a Southern Christian, my home church, not only when we take communion, when we follow the scripture that talks about how to take communion, after they took communion, they, they washed feet. And so I grew up, if you will, in a church that literally did that. We literally washed feet.
Mhm.
And so it's such a humbling experience, as you're a young person or a young adult, and you're able to wash the feet of the mothers and the deaconess who serves, in leadership, but then they turn around and they kneel down and they wash your feet and they honor you in that same way. And while it's a physical act, it's a demonstrative, act that mirrors something we know Jesus did. It actually really resonates and sit in your spirit. And if, as you know, being in Baltimore leadership, part of what makes Baltimore leadership so incredible, I found, was if you're going to lead and you're going to um have influence on decisions or policy or things that affect the citizens of this city, we needed to immerse ourselves into these experiences, into these communities that were indicative of the community and as diverse as it may be. And when you really not only learn about something in a textbook, read about it, or even work with a demographic in your organization or through your charitable outreach, it's a very, very different experience when you actually live amongst them and experience a day in the life, the shoes, the challenges, the pain points, the obstacles, the things that they are persevering through and beyond. So I say all that to say, again, as words say, to whom much is given, much is required. And never did I ever set out with this vision or goal of
Yes.
owning a property of this magnitude, that it would make history and that it would mean so much to so many people, from my elders to, teenagers to, adolescents who meet me and learn the story. And it made it even more clearer that what my purpose was and my commitment to this work. And not only the work of the brand root branch, but the physical space that this space represents. It represents a safe space, a creative space where, those that may not typically be afforded the invitation in are invited in to create, to learn, to be empowered. And so that in and of itself is so rewarding, is what I, desire to be my legacy. And, again, it's something I could have never imagined. So every day when I get up, even if I don't do anything.
Well, I think we're having just a little bit of problem with our.
Are you able to hear me? A little bit?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little.
Okay.
I can hear you, but you're breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
That's a little bit better.
It did get a little bit better. So last thing I'll say on that point is just every day.
So can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how did you decide that you wanted to get into real estate investment?
Well, believe it or not, I'm not a homeowner. And so there's always been the desire to own.
Okay.
And the opportunity to own the space that I worked from presented itself first. And so in hindsight, it's quite strategic and quite, almost genius, if you will, because by investing in the thing that builds my brand and builds my wealth, it now makes that, wealth, if you will, or that net worth translate to my personal. So when it's time, when I am finally ready to buy home or whatever, it's based on my entire portfolio, So I didn't set out with that intention, but I learned that important lesson of real estate investment being the way to go to create something that's an asset that generates the wealth for you to live and live the life that you desire, essentially.
And that's what life is all about. It's what's the future looking like for you, and what is it that you need to build to get it there, right?
That's right. Yes.
And how often do we even have an opportunity to make a decision at such a high level?
Right. Right.
And in your space, yeah.
Incredible, right?
But when we look at that space and how you used it, what was the vision for that particular piece of property down off of Boston?
The vision was for it to be a media resort, as I call it. So my primary business is media production. I want production studios, top of the line, industry grade. It sits on the waterfront. So I want to brand it as this luxurious resort type experience that sits in the Mid-Atlantic region, but could contend with studios in LA or in Atlanta or in New York. That's really what the original vision. And it still has those elements, but again, beyond my imagination, it took on an even deeper rooted meaning to so many others, and what it has created as this media hub or this tech hub that exists in a city, in a community that is identified as a tech desert,
Okay. And it's removed from the normal downtown kind of vibe.
Yeah.
What made you decide on that particular space? I mean, it's huge, right? So you're not seeing a lot of properties that are looking like that.
No. It's very unique. It's very set apart, right? I mean, it happens to be a property. You know the story. It was a private sale. The prior owner was a client, someone that we had done video work for. And the whole point of the video work we were making for them was to show their growth and scale, because they outgrew the block. They outgrew this space and moved to a bigger building a few miles up, and they wanted marketing collateral to show their growth and scale in their new space. And just in the midst of the conversation, the owner at the time said, well, if you're, interested in looking for a new studio, a new office, take a look at my old building, make me an offer. And so I went over and took a look at it and made an offer.
I love it. I love it. Now you have a lot of office space in there. How do you use the building?
So
do you still rent it? Go ahead.
Yes, there's still opportunity to take up office space in some of our available office units for lease. And I think it's pretty reasonably, priced out, where offices are ranging anywhere from $700 to $900 a month. And we also have a couple of spaces that are large enough to hold corporate trainings, retreats, allowing other partners to use the conference room and that sort of thing. So, I haven't aborted the idea of even cultivating one of the really large spaces into a co-op flex workspace, creating a space for artists and small businesses to have a membership and have a
Oh,
creative
nice.
workspace that they could work from when they need to meet clients and that sort of thing, as opposed to hanging out in the local coffee shop. However, we also launched a coffee brand with the intent of building out our own coffee shop as a storefront entity, so that again the community can directly interface and connect with the Root Ranch brand through our coffee.
I love it. So you said, I'm just going to diversify.
Yes. That's right.
And I love it. And that's what you're supposed to do with that much space. That's real, Vonnya. I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of spaces because it's a beautiful space.
Thank
And you
you.
have so many different sizes too, so which is really lovely. How do you think, as you build, because I think you got a knack for this real estate stuff, I think.
I think I do. I got the bug, that's for sure. I'm definitely like,
I
what's
think I
next?
hit the nail on the head on
Yes.
that one.
Yes. Yeah, I can definitely see continuing to grow the portfolio. All right.
Come on. I don't know what's happening, why we're getting all this disruption.
I know, right?
Oh, I don't even know. It's a direct line to my cable, so I don't know what's going on, girl. But let's talk about how you even saw the building, but also it's what else are you doing? You're doing this whole business of real estate. Or
Mm-hmm.
is there more? What's the vision for you?
Yeah, I do believe I desire to replicate the model for sure. Um because I already see how valuable, what we have built, what value add it has already added for Baltimore. So to be able to
Mhm.
do that and create that for, other surrounding cities is just something I'm really interested in doing. Like I said, I'm
Yeah.
from Philadelphia, so I would love to be able to replicate something like this even in my own hometown, quite honestly.
Right. Well, I think it's a wonderful idea, and you got DC right there, and there's a little bit of water over there too.
That's
You
right.
know.
Yeah, I think I got
But
a
I
thing
think
for
that
the water too.
I know, because that whole water business is the truth. I love
Yeah.
it.
Isn't it a beautiful view? And I mean, I feel very fortunate and blessed that every day out my office window, I literally look out at the marina and the ships and the people who own personal yachts, like literally
Yeah,
outside my window.
right. And that's what's so beautiful about it. And the whole thing of it is that as you start looking at real estate, you've got so many things that you're doing. Do you see yourself building more down by the waterfront?
I think so. I definitely see that. But I also see the value of building, as I say, inland, really
Uh-huh.
being in those communities. Because while I say this all the time as my 2.0 slogan, because I've coined I bought the block, right? But
I
now
love
I
it.
say I bought the block, but I'm still in the community,
Yes.
and we through our education program, we have over 40 teachers that are in and out of the schools throughout
Really?
Baltimore City, and we're in oftentimes in the schools that again are tech deserts that aren't the newer 21st century built buildings. We're in the buildings that, still need some additional support. And as a
Right.
program partner, we're bringing in the equipment, the technology, the instructors, the curriculum, so that
Hmm.
those young learners have access to an equitable tech experience.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. What type of training are they getting with computers or archaeology or something? I don't know. You got something that you got planned. I know.
It's a little bit of all of that. At the root of what we do as a company and with our young people, we're big on storytelling, particularly controlling our narrative, right? And so because we work with students at such a young age, we're in the K through 8 school. So we're touching the lives of kindergartners to 8th graders mostly. We have some high schools and we also have some alternative school partners as well, which again, I find extremely impactful because in our alternative school partners, these are students who may be very high in age, but
Mm-hmm.
still low in grade. So
Ah,
they may be in 9th, 10th grade, but approaching 20 years old and this kind of thing, but they're
mhm.
still in school, and
Okay.
we want to make their learning more than just this track to get a diploma, but to also develop a industry level training and skill that's relevant to the day and age that we are in. And
Mhm.
media technology or media art literacy is the perfect match to do that. And
Mhm.
because they are a digital generation who love making videos and storytelling and engaging with video, while it may have piqued their interest initially for entertainment, we're teaching them the profession of it. And because it is so hands-on and it is fun, it's actually impacting their interest level. So their attendance is going up and their attendance is being maintained because they like coming to our class.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Because you have interested them. They're now passionate about what you've presented to them, so they're no longer bored and sitting and playing around with the baseball. They're now
Right.
looking at something
That's
that's
right.
intellectual, and
That's
that's
right.
huge.
That's huge. And I'm
It's
telling you,
huge.
and especially like I said, when I talk about our alternative demographic, we're talking about young people who may have faced a number of barriers, whether it's incarceration at a young age, or they may even be parents already, right?
Yep.
So that
Yep.
means their real life, they would probably prefer to be at work or doing something else. But because we've presented something in front of them that allows them to still be a young person, still tap into their creativity, still exercise voice and choice, they're showing up for our class.
Yes. Yes. Because they finally have a place that's safe,
Yes.
that challenges their mental.
Yeah.
And from an emotional standpoint, there is a safe place for them to be themselves. And when
That's
you're
right.
looking at some of these young people, years ago, I used to be the executive director for Alvin Ailey Dance Theater Foundation of Maryland.
That's right.
And we had a camping program, and just seeing those children go through dealing with what's at home. And I'll never forget this, Doctor. This little boy was sitting in the balcony in the gym out at UMBC. I'll never forget this. And this was, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years ago. And this boy is still in my head as though it were yesterday. And he was sitting in the bleachers by himself. And everybody else, at that time, I had a camp director. Her name was Fidelma, and she handled all of the planning for the kids' activities. And this little boy just sat up in the bleachers. And I went over to him and I started talking to him. And I said, she's really looking at all the great things, and she's presenting stuff. And, we're trying to give you guys some activity. And, she's got these going, and so I'm telling him all that. And he looked at me and he said, Miss Marcia, you always trying to make everybody happy. I remember this like this boy was sitting next to me yesterday. He said, I don't even see myself making 13. I don't see myself living past 13. That child will be in my head for the rest of my life. That's been almost 15 years ago. He's still sitting here, right here on the edge of my brain, wondering where this little boy is. Yeah. And so when you talk about bringing young people, there's so much that they have had to endure. And for you to create these programs for them is huge, Doctor. It's huge. And I'm so grateful that you're doing this kind of work, because it is necessary. And those babies need us. Now, that was out at UMBC, but we've got, Morgan and everywhere else. I just, think that it's imperative that you're doing the kind of work that you're doing with them, and how we all need, and I hope the people who hear us talking, that we all have seen what has been happening in some of our communities.
Yes. We have to, as I say always, turn inward, look to ourselves and look to each other for our own solutions, because we have everything we need. I mean, when I tell you, I feel like all throughout the day, I'm constantly quoting scripture or some verse of it, some iteration, because it's true. When I think about, even when I don't have anything, and that's a reality as an entrepreneur, there are ebbs and flows. There are times where there's bounty and there's times when there's lack. But even in lack, my word tells me that everything I need is in my hands. And not only is it in my hand, even when I don't have anything else, I own a property and I have a liberated mind that can create. So I can create an opportunity. I can create an experience. I can create the revenue. I can create the moment. I could create the connections to bring them into the room. And that's something you and I talk about all the time. How do we pool our resources together? Between you and I alone, we got some juice between us, Marcia. So
serious. Yes.
Together the impact we
Mhm.
could have for our community, being
Yes.
able to lift us all up, you know?
Yes. Oh, and it's so real. I'm so glad that you said that because I have a lot of respect for you. And you have, not too often am I touched by people that I meet. Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, that's nice. And you go on to the next and shake the next hand, right? But
Yeah.
I didn't get that with you. I didn't get that with you. It was just a natural communication. And it was, you walk in love. You walked in love with me when we first met. And it was so powerful because too often we don't really take the time to see who we're really talking to and what they are, who they are and what they really do. We don't always, I don't know, years later, we don't take it to the root like we used to, right?
Yes.
And so that's one of the reasons why I like your spirit, because it goes beyond just an emotional experience and then gone. You don't turn
Mhm.
the light off. No, I don't get that from you. I think you ponder what
Yeah.
you experience more than the normal person. You're not
Okay.
pondering too long. You get
Mhm.
you get it. You're on a mission, and it bubbles up, and you
Mhm.
bring it. And that's the power that God has given you to do. And it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Marsha, when I first came to Baltimore, oh gosh, I don't know where I was. I was in a room and you were on a stage. You were either moderating, speaking, or being honored. I do not remember. But this was young me in my 20s, maybe 30s. I don't know, because I'm almost 50 now. But I came into Baltimore and I saw this beautiful woman with this silver hair. And whatever you were up there saying, I knew you were in the journalism world, and I just admired you that moment.
Oh,
And I do not think I have ever, because we didn't meet that day. Like I was in the audience and you were up on the stage. And I do not believe, to my knowledge, that you and I may have ever been in the room again together. But then
right.
we were in this more recent time and meeting each other. And even as I'm listening to you pour into me and share your, I guess, feedback or interpretation of what you received when meeting me, it fills me because there's something that happens when someone that you look up to or you have adoration to that you've never met, and now they meet you and they're telling you about how you made them feel. And it's this conversation is kind of emotional, but in a beautiful way, but it's also in a way
Yes.
sisterhood and again being of the same industry and almost this carrying of the mantle because
Mhm.
I don't take I like I said, I didn't meet you then, but what I know of
Mhm.
you is that you are an intentional person and you're an honest person, because I definitely have seen you on the news and stuff. Like you didn't you would advocate for the people, so I knew that about you. So I don't take lightly your words tonight. And I just thank you. I thank you.
Oh, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. You gonna make me cry.
You're gonna make me cry.
Girl, too often we don't always take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to us. They may just be a moment where we can just sit and vibe, or it may be a lesson that we just learned that we can carry and hold it in our breast. One of the things that I think is so powerful that when you start mentioning young people, I did a program, this was years ago, and it was Alvin Ailey.
Mm-hmm.
And Alvin Ailey Dance Theater Foundation of Maryland, and they took it away somewhere, whatever. But those little, young people. I would love for us to figure out how we can help them. That middle school group of people, and I'm telling you, I see that little boy in my head to this day. To this day, that's been 15, almost 20 years. This boy has been in my head. And this little boy, and I'm just talking to him, I'm up here debating the bleachers and they're all on the floor. And when I said to this little boy, everybody you would need to get active. You want to do it. He said, Miss Marsha, you always trying to bring people together and change. He said, I don't even see myself living past 14. This little, and I've said it and I keep saying it because 10, 15 years later, that child is still in my head. I don't know where that child is. I don't know nothing. But what I do know today, we as a community, we as a people, we have to start really focusing on our young people. That middle school age is real tender.
Yes, it is.
And it's real tender, and we really have to bring everybody and every resource we can to help them, because not everybody has that help at home.
No, that's right. That's right. And the way things are, unfortunately, playing out, so many of our schools or our community organizations that were doing the best they could with what they could are experiencing cuts, and those cuts mean they support even fewer students, so we can't lose them to the streets. We can't lose them, by the way. We have to get creative and think, how do we leverage the resources we have to fill the gap? We got
to fill the real gap. Because there is a gap. There is a gap.
Yes.
That, to fill it, we've got to recognize that there is a gap.
Yes.
And too often, many of us don't want to acknowledge that the gap exists and the impact that gap is having on these young people's lives. That's the part.
That's right. Yeah. That's why a firm like mine, independent media, like your podcast, we're able to raise awareness, educate our community. We have influence in our community. We have influence in the rooms we sit in. You read my bio, and my bio, as you were saying it ranged from business entities, media journalism entities, to business entities that are predominantly older white men, to business entities that are Black women only, So in the pendulum of a week or a month, I have sat in so many rooms and at so many tables, and I get to carry the narrative and the message of the gap, the need, and educate people on how they can do what they can in their small portion to begin to fill the gap.
I think that's a logo that needs to go on some shirts that says "Fill the Gap."
We need a media campaign.
You know what I'm saying? Fill the gap.
Yeah.
Fill the gap. And people will look at that. Fill the gap? What's fill the gap?
Yes.
Because that's the issue. We are not filling the gap. We're not feeling it in the classrooms. We're not feeling it out on the street. We're not feeling it in some of the churches. And we've got to fill the gap, because that's what's missing it for them emotionally, mentally, and physically.
That's right. And you can fill the gap in your lane. You don't got to do everything. So we know we're in a food desert, and you have resources to fill a nutrition gap. Fill that gap.
Fill the gap.
If you don't want to be on the block and go in the community, but you got money, send a check and fill the gap. Okay.
You know what? I think that's a t-shirt. That's real. Fill the gap.
Yes.
Because that is what's happening.
Yes.
Fill the gap, because there is a gap.
Yes, it is.
With that little thing with Alvin Ailey driving that little child home because the mother didn't pick them up at UMBC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I sat in front of that woman's house for I don't know how long, at least an hour before she came home. Who's going to fill that gap? That child is sitting in my car because he doesn't have the key to get into the house, and now it's dark.
You didn't leave him outside. Right. Yep.
So I got to sit there with my car and fill the gap.
Yes, you do. That's right.
We got to fill the gap.
And so, if it's not your natural knee-jerk reaction to fill the gap, then you need to reassess. Because the fact of it is, part of the problem is so many other people think somebody else is going to do it.
Right. And I've
heard it so many times. Who are our Black leaders today? Then I had to turn and look at my own self in the mirror, and I'm like, well, while they're saying that, I am a history maker who made history as the lady who bought the block. I'm one of their said such Black leaders. So when these things happen, I can't act like they're not talking to me. That's absurd. They're talking to me, but they're also talking to each of us, because you may not have done that thing, but you are the leader of your house. You might be a leader on your block. So
start there. You got to start somewhere.
Go to your school PTA. Go to your city council meeting, right?
Yes, because you got to fill the gap.
You got to.
And fill the gap is real, because there is a gap. There's a gap.
It's a gaping hole at this point.
Yes, it is.
It's a gaping hole. Yes,
it is. And our children are who are the people being impacted the most.
They are. That's right.
And if we don't deal with the superintendent of the school systems here and the parents, community leaders, organizations, we need to all be together, sitting and talking about how to fill the gap, because it's mandatory.
Yes, and it's growing.
Yes.
And we can't let it grow faster than, we got to get out in front of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
You're absolutely right. And we've got to deal with it, because it's huge. And it gets bigger. The more we talk about it, and the more we read about it, the more we hear about it on TV, we know there's a gap. So what y'all going to do for real?
For real. That's right.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
Folks sit down and talk about, I got this thing, and I have a new somebody that dresses $3,000. Well, just take 10% of that and start filling the gap where we need to with these young people.
That's
looking at where the gaps are, and there are tons of them. And we
support our local small businesses so we fuel our own economy.
Yes.
Seriously.
It's filled again at all levels.
All levels. I mean, so I appreciate when you ask the question about how do I use my space? How can people engage with me? I'm not saying don't support the bigger institutes, but when you book with me, when you book my space, there's a direct community impact. One, to a small minority woman-owned business, but then also to a business that has receipts and a track record of serving the community. So you know where your dollars are going.
Yes. And I think that calls for a roundtable discussion privately at your block.
Mm-hmm. I'm open for that.
We sit down and pull together some folks, some list of people, pull a list together and start sitting down looking where the gaps are. Where are the gaps?
Yes.
Let's identify the gaps and then figure out how to fill them.
Yes.
I'd
I
be
like that
game
a
for
lot.
that. I would absolutely love that.
I like that a
And
lot.
yes, I think that's a good start. That's a good first step.
It's a good first step. See what happened when leadership get together? Look at us.
That part. That
Yes.
part. That part. And we stirred that pot, girl. We stirred that pot.
We
We're gonna
will
come up
now.
with some good gumbo, honey.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I do too. And I want you to know too that this platform's available to you.
Thank you.
And it goes up into the metaverse. And
Okay.
so yeah, we'll be doing some things. And I'm so grateful that you are taking the time. I know you got 1,000 things to do, but know that we're here, we're available to help,
Thank
to support whatever you want. And I've got a lot of flexibility these days, so you better take advantage of it.
Yes, I'm gonna tap you on the shoulder. We gotta fill
I,
the gap.
I believe that. I believe that. I know you will. So
Yes.
I'm here for it. I am
I
here for
can't
it.
wait. I can't wait. Thank you.
Okay. And if
Yes.
you, okay, we'll talk about this when we sign off. But thank you so much. Is there any
Yes.
last words you want to give us?
No, I mean, you as you alluded to, I really do have a lot of upcoming events that I'm either a part of, I'm facilitating, or you know, being recognized at. So it means a lot to me when the community engage with these things, because again, as I'm saying, I'm in a lot of unique rooms that may be foreign to some people. And now, through your connection to me, here's an extended invitation to be in those rooms and to partake in the wisdom that's being shared and the networking that is happening in these rooms. So I just encourage folks to follow my social, which is Vonnya Rooted on Instagram, and stay tapped into some of the events that I have coming up, some of the talks. I literally do have two things tomorrow. I
Picking up
have
a
a
little
talk
bit.
tomorrow. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay.
Okay. Well, so let's do a
Yes.
sidebar, set up some time where we can catch up and be able to move this forward. I think that this is one. Thank you so much for taking time, because I know you got 1,000 other things to do, but I'm so grateful and so honored to be here with you. I'm so proud of you, and all of your hard work and your vision is
Thank
huge,
you.
Doctor. It's huge. And so let's figure out how we're going to reconnect, but I think we at least got started
We got
in
started.
stirring that pot.
Yes. And if y'all are watching and you are with us, in the
Okay.
comments or chat, fill the gap. Type fill the gap.
All
Fill the
right.
gap.
Sounds good. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Fill the gap. All right. Good night.
Good night.
See ya. What is going on?